morning, delivery fam. Good morning, and welcome to another episode of BRAT of the Day. This morning, we're going to be talking about DoorDash. $9 tip, and Dasher keeps the food. Uh-oh. But before we dive into that, if you're brand new to the channel, I need you to do me a favor and hit subscribe, click the bell, and join the family, because nobody else understands what you go through, or nobody else will understand what you go through except another driver just like you. All right? Now, that is some real words. And before I even get started, if you want to send in your story for Brat of the Day, this email at the bottom of the screen right here. Yep. bratoftheday@gmail.com. Send in your story. It doesn't matter what platform it happened on. It could happen on Instacart, shipped, as a customer, as a driver, as a shopper, whatever you got to talk about. Send in your story, bratoftheday@gmail.com. All right. Now, also, before we dive into the Brat of the Day, if you have not checked out my last video, it's a ride along. I did some DoorDash and Grubhub multi-apping. If you're interested in checking that out, I would appreciate it if you go ahead and check it out. All right. I'm a little hyped this morning. All right. But anyway, let's get the Brat of the Day started. How about that? I hope y'all ready. Okay. Let's get this one started. Too many directions. That's the subject. I ended up rating this driver 1 star and told DoorDash all about this laziness. Yesterday, after a big fight with my wife, and after getting her settled down, I decided to order breakfast at Denny's, but ended up ordering from Jam's Cafe. Never heard of Jam's Cafe, but thumbs up emoji in the chat right now if you heard of Jam's Cafe. Never heard of them. Love them, so no problem. Now, I didn't notice that the website had screwed up because I have Dash Pass, and it usually has me already set up. The Dasher calls me up and tells me the address was wrong. So I fix the address and then tell them to use the GPS, and then I'll get them the rest of the way. I ordered an unsweet tea, a sweet tea, and an omelet for my wife. An omelet for my wife and a breakfast plate for myself. I'm sorry. I then tip $9. That makes $12 for the trip. So getting back to it, the Dasher tells me it's a lot of directions. Cut the music down a little bit more. It's a lot of directions. They're going to mark my order as delivered and then come deliver it. Now, let me stop there for a second. Gives the Dasher a new address, all right? The Dasher says they're going to mark the order as delivered, and then they're going to come and deliver it, okay? Now, that right there, let's continue. They did not deliver it to me. They ended up telling me DoorDash would have to refund me. So they keep 2 breakfast orders and both of the drinks and the tip. Don't tell me it's a lot of directions to drive maybe 5 to 8 minutes more so you can get a good rating and not be blasted for lying. I've never had an issue before either. So the moral of this story is to make sure everything is right and make sure you don't get a Dasher who is so lazy they refuse to show up after you update your directions. Love your channel and curious to know if you've had a similar experience. I will also add, I use DoorDash to help out my fellow drivers in South Florida. I don't have to do this, but as a driver myself, I feel obligated to pay it forward. I did get refunded for my order too after I battled with DoorDash support. I will say I never had this happen, but I will tell you a story. I ordered on Grubhub where I didn't something similar, but it didn't happen on DoorDash. All right. I ordered an egg and cheese croissant from Grubhub, and I guess the first person that had it, it ended up transferring over to another person, and I told that person to make sure it's not cold. Please make sure it's not cold, and they delivered it anyway. And I told them to call me as soon as they get to the restaurant. I put all of that in the notes, and then I tried to call them, and they didn't answer me. And then when they got to me, they was like, "Oh, I saw you calling me, but I just didn't want to answer." And then my egg and cheese croissant was cold. Now, I was doing that for an experiment, just to see what the customer experience was like on Grubhub. So it's like, it's unfortunate that we go through these types of things, when we're just trying to also pay it forward, because we don't have to do it. We just choose to do it for maybe it's convenience for you. But I know for me, it's me trying to do an experiment, and that experiment failed. And only if that person knew who I was, a YouTuber and a driver at the same time, I probably would never been telling y'all this story right now. So this was a very unfortunate situation. So who is the brat? I'm not going to call this person's name, but who is the brat? Is it the customer who is a driver, a fellow dasher, right, for putting in the wrong address or having the wrong address before delivery? Is it the dasher for telling the customer, I'm going to mark this delivered and then I'm going to proceed to deliver it to you, but then ends up changing their mind and not delivering it at all? Or is it DoorDash for having some kind of screw up? They didn't explain this part, but some kind of screw up with Dash Pass. Who is the brat? That's a very tough one. I, as a customer, knowing that I left a $9 tip, I would want my food. I know there was a possible screw up, but I would want my food. I'm sorry, I left you a $9 tip, and on the dasher's end, that dasher might be only seeing it as $8, not $12 total. So at the same time, I'm kind of like on the fence here. I don't know which way to go. I understand the customer side, right? I understand your side. You ordered, you have Dash Pass, you ordered, and then you left them a $9 tip. That's a damn good tip. Most people just leave like $5. But a $9 tip is a really good tip. And that's why they said that they're paying it forward. They're trying to support their fellow dashers. All right? Now, for the dasher to say what they said, I feel like the dasher's the doggone brat, because everything already went south, but then you make a promise and you don't deliver. You can't make a promise and you don't deliver. I've found myself in situations where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to drive any additional miles, but if you want to drive to me, I will wait some additional minutes for you to come and pick up your order. I've done that, because I don't want to drive the additional miles because I'm not being paid for that. And like I said, the dasher might be seeing one thing up front, but the customer knows how much they tipped on the back end. But we don't see that. Total may be higher. I hate that. I wish they would just show us everything up front. And I know I had some of y'all reaching out to me, telling me, UDM, there's a trick. There's a trick, UDM. I know the trick, okay? And we're not going to talk about it. I'm not putting that on YouTube, okay? We know the trick, all right? So a lot of us know the trick. Potty, you that's watching right now, you know the trick on all that good stuff. I'm going to just leave that there. But anyway, tell me who the brat was. Let me know your opinion in the comment section down below. I feel that both parties had an unfortunate situation. The customer left a tip, a really good tip. They communicated with the dasher. There was a little discrepancy. There's a little issue with the address. They know how much they left, and they were having such a little bad day going on already. The dasher I don't know how much the Dasher saw up front. It could have been $750. It could have been $8. It could have been $850. Could have been $950. Don't know. But the Dasher saw one thing, and they did not know how much more they were going to receive. So they probably did not want to drive those additional miles. So I understand it from both sides of the fence. But I wouldn't promise to deliver something and not deliver it. That's the part that gets me. I wouldn't say, okay, I'm going to mark this delivered, but I'm going to come to you because I got your address now. I'm not going to do that. If I don't want to drive the additional miles, I'm not going to drive the additional miles. Point blank, period. If you want to come get your food and then rate me bad later, you can do that. But I'm not going to drive the additional miles unless I want to drive those additional miles and make that sacrifice for that customer. I'm not going to do that. But if I say I'm going to do it, you best believe I'm going to do it. If I say I'm going to go these extra steps for you, I will. And I got a story for y'all. All right. Let's start the music over. I'm going to tell you, this is an extended version of BRAT of the day. So I hope you're enjoying this so far. If you are, squeeze the life out of the thumbs up, okay? Squeeze the life out of that thumbs up button. All right, so let's start this music over. Let me tell y'all what happened to me. This happened on Uber Eats, all right? This is an extended version, all right? Y'all will only get this bonus one time. All right, so anyway, it was Uber Eats. I went to go deliver. I picked up an order for a customer. When I went to go deliver it, it was at a dealership, but the dealership was closed, right? And then I called Uber Eats. Then they said they're going to contact the customer and whatnot, right? When they found out the customer was outside of their boundary. And I was like, Uber got boundaries? I didn't even know they had boundaries until that situation. So when I contacted the customer and I said, hey, Uber Eats said, hey, you're outside of the boundaries and I can't deliver it to you. He was like, oh man, please, man, I'm hungry, man. I ain't see, how he said it. It happened so long ago, but he was begging me on the phone to please deliver this, man. I will leave you a nice tip. Come on, family. I will leave you a nice tip. I will leave you a nice tip. Please, I'm hungry, man. And I just live like 3 minutes away from my job because that's my job. I forgot to change the address. So I said, all right, you know what? I'm going to do you this favor. And I'm not doing it for any tip. I made sure they knew that, right? Because I didn't want to come off like, hey, you're bribing me to do something and then whatnot. But I was expecting my tip secretly, So he said he's going to pay me for my trip, my additional trip and whatnot. And I went to go deliver it. And I did not get a tip. So, with that said, family, I think it's time for us to do what we got to do. Y'all know what time that is, right? Oh, yeah. What time it is? Put it in the chat.